Leaders drive the culture in any organization. And when I say any organization, I mean from the very, very small companies up to the very, very large companies. It can be two people in addition to the owner who are kind of making the decisions in the business. It is those two people who are really going to drive the culture of the company. And the owner may champion the culture, the owner may try to undermine the culture, but if those two individuals are bent on driving the culture a certain direction, that's the direction it's going to go. When you think about your company, your organization, and you think about the people who sit at the leadership table with you, I want you to start thinking about those people as the ones who are responsible for the culture of the organization. Everybody's looking at you. It's true, they're looking at your owner, they're looking at your CEO, but really you're the individual who has a lot more influence over what happens. Everybody knows that the CEO stands to gain a lot if the culture improves. Everybody understands that the owner is going to benefit quite a bit if the overall business value increases because we're able to accomplish more with a healthy culture. Because they know that, they just kind of see this self-interest. Oh, well, they want us to do these things because it's going to be good for them. But when you and your fellow leaders buy into the culture, when you guys start driving the culture, when it becomes yours and you start holding people accountable to things like values, when you start encouraging, exhorting, empowering the folks around you, they start to take that incredibly seriously because they take you seriously. And maybe you worry that sometimes they don't. Maybe you worry that the culture is too damaged for you to really make a difference. And I'll talk about that in a second, but it doesn't really get us anywhere until you understand the extraordinary influence you and your teammates on the leadership team have over the culture in the business. Now, you might be listening to this, and despite everything I've said, you still go, well, you don't understand our company. And maybe you're the CEO and you're saying this, and you're going, well, that might be true on some of the leadership teams, but our group is just not going to get it. Or I got a good leadership team, but you don't understand the kind of people that we have to hire in our industry. You don't understand what it's like out there in the field. And I would say to you, we actually do, because this is not our first rodeo. We've seen a lot of teams in the field, and we've seen teams with incredibly disengaged cultures in the field become incredibly engaged because the leadership team became engaged and they started to lead from example. But the best thing I could say to you as the business owner is it's really good news if you're the problem. If it's your kind of head trash, or it's your roadblock that you don't believe that the culture can change. As soon as you start believing that the culture can change, we're going to start to see tremendous influence and tremendous improvement. So the good news is you're one decision away from having an improved culture if you're the business owner. But maybe you're somebody who's not the business owner and you go, you don't understand our business owner. You don't understand, they are the worst part of the problem. They are the toxic person. We are all in on the culture and they're constantly undermining what we're doing. And so there's a little bit of apathy or a lot of apathy on the leadership team when it comes to culture. And if that describes your situation, I would go back and ask you to realize the influence you have, not just down the organization with the people who report to you, but the extraordinary influence you have up the organization. And maybe it requires a little bit of empathy on your part to understand how broken and damaged and how much PTSD the business owner is carrying around. Maybe it's not something that's ever going to be fixed. But if you will go down this journey with us, one of two things is going to happen. It is going to be fixed. Your influence will be heard. You will be leading up the chain of command. And leading up the chain of command is going to have an incredible effect on your CEO or your business owner. But the worst possible thing that can happen is your own leadership capacity will increase, and you will decide that at some point you need to pursue opportunities elsewhere because things aren't going to change above you. And your skill set, your leadership capacity will be that much better than it was when we started. And that's just going to open up opportunities for you. So whether you have the influence or whether it creates more opportunity, it's a win-win situation. We would encourage you to dive in and understand how much of an impact you have on driving the culture.